What about the game tonight? Man United got it done. Michael Carrick doing a good job, mate. Got to give him the job.
Well, it feels like they have no choice but to give him the job. Where do they go? Where do they go from here? I'm not convinced by him.
What do you mean?
I'm not convinced that...
The top of the form table since he come in.
I know.
Well, what do you want from him?
No, you're right. And I concede that. I'm not convinced completely. I saw the game tonight. I've seen enough of Manchester United. I come away from United always a little bit like, okay, I get why they're going to give him the job. And they will give him the job.
Do you think they give him the job?
I think they will. I don't know whether it's going to be the right call, though. I'm not totally convinced because he's had a relatively easy job in terms of clearly knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Has had no European football.
No.
Had no domestic cup football at all. And he's had to work from weekend to weekend pretty much. And he's done a brilliant job. I'm not taking anything away from him, but I don't know. I mean, Brentford, how they weren't 3-1 up by half-time, I'll never know.
Yeah, no, they had some big chances.
They got the job done, and on paper you go, look at what he's... And you can't argue with the results. I'm not convinced it's as straightforward as it looks, although I think they'll probably give him the job by default, because who else is there?
Well, there's a lot of managers out there.
Don't know whether there is, mate. Who's out there? Who's out there? You go, right, take a punt on him. Carrick is in. He's got
Iriola.
But Carrick's he's in the seat. Carrick's in there.
Yeah, but he's only as an interim.
I know, but he's getting results.
It ain't costing them money to get rid of him if they did want to make that decision.
I get what
Iriola or Carrick.
I mean, at the moment you've got to say Carrick, haven't you? Because he's got the jacket on, hasn't he? He's got the Man United badge on his chest.
I agree with you, but you're saying you're not having him.
No, I'm not saying I'm not having him.
I'll give him a shot.
No, of course that I get.
But there are good managers out there.
I just wonder whether I'm. No, I'm not a Man United fan. I couldn't care less.
Let's ask a Man United.
Man United fans will tell me what they think. I'm just not convinced because results are good and where they are, and he's done a magnificent job. Not taking anything away. I just wonder whether the workload and the game load that will inevitably come his way next season with Champions League football is he the man? There's a bump in the road, and that bump will come. I just don't know, mate. Anyway,
well, let's ask Ryan. He's a Man United fan, all right, Rise?
All right, Rhino.
Hey, mate, how's it going? All right?
Yeah, I'm all right, Rise. You happy with that tonight?
I'm on top of the world because obviously my local team's York. We got promoted at weekend.
Oh, what an amazing game that was!
I was on train travelling away to Glasgow because I've been up here all weekend, and I was on train going mental. I needed a defib.
Yeah.
It was that bad.
It was a big one. It was a biggie.
Yeah.
What about Man United, though? Cundy's saying he's not convinced with Carrick.
I think you've got to give him the job considering what games he's won. I mean, he won at Arsenal. He beat Chelsea. He's got Liverpool next weekend. And if we beat Liverpool next weekend, obviously we've got Champions League football but now confirmed with tonight's win. But beat Liverpool at the weekend, he's beaten Arsenal, City, Chelsea, and then Liverpool. He's beaten 4 of the big 6.
Yeah.
So it's no more. I mean, like you were saying earlier, like who else is there out there? You've got Nagelsmann going to a World Cup.
Wait there, boys, because I've got to go over to Old Trafford. Keith Andrews is with Sam Matterface.
I'm with Keith Andrews in the tunnel at Old Trafford. And Keith, with all of the opportunities and chances that you created, how disappointed are you to walk away with nothing tonight?
Yeah, really disappointed. I think we performed really, really well overall. They started the game better, got themselves into a one-goal lead. There was a succession of corners where I didn't love us, to be honest, and they caught us out. After that, I thought we grew into the game. We got control of it. We looked really comfortable with the game, the occasion, the environment. We needed to control transitions better. I felt that was going to be the threat in terms of what they would produce when we were in decent control of it. And unfortunately, our second goal was a bit of a killer. Yeah,
you talked about the corners there. You've defended corners brilliantly over the course of the season. Can you understand what happened?
Yeah, listen, they've got very good delivery and they've got a couple of key individuals that can cause you problems for sure, 2 of which were prevalent in the goal, Maguire and Casemiro. It's not like we didn't know that. So yeah, that's disappointing because you're right, we have been very, very good on that front.
Talk to me about the finishing as well, because Igor Thiago has had a magnificent season, but he's got himself into a couple of wonderful positions tonight and hasn't been able to find the finish.
Yeah, I think not just T. I think in general, I think that's the next step. I think, well, I know we're creating good opportunities and we have been pretty consistently. The next step for us as a group, as we look to continue to progress, is being ruthless, being clinical, being killers in those situations. And again, it's not just Thiago, it's everybody when we get into those positions that we really need to punish teams, not overplay, play really, really penetrating football, cause the team opposition, but once we get into those areas, just really take those opportunities.
When we zoom out and look at the season from a sort of global perspective, you probably have to sort of reflect on a defeat at Old Trafford and being disappointed to come away with nothing as a positive, really, because it has shown the progression of the side over the course of the season. When you look at the whole season, do you think, well, I've done a pretty good job here?
Yeah, I'm not really looking at the overall. I'm always in the here and the now, and I think if you go back to when we played them at home in September and that run that we went on, we have progressed as a team. There's no doubt about that in terms of how we've played, how we've evolved the team, how we try and play in different ways and slightly unpredictable, and the individual growth within that team. I think everybody can see the improvements in the players. They're playing with such confidence and personality to come to a place like this and do what they've done tonight. So overall, I know where you're going, but I'm more about the here and the now, and I am really disappointed we haven't got something tonight.
Okay, finally from me, just talking about European football, and that's been something that I know you haven't wanted to talk about, but do you think that actually the fact that you haven't been able to make as many changes and you haven't been able to make as many substitutions in recent weeks because of injuries has been a little bit of an issue for you?
I think it's not rocket science to see that the squad is a little bit light at the moment. We're missing some key players. Yeah, in certain areas we're stronger than others. It's been stretched in recent weeks for sure. There's no doubt about that. But the players that are available will give absolutely everything every single day. Just spoke to them before we left for the hotel, and the training sessions we've had this week, and the intensity in which we've trained, and the appetite for the game in general. I don't see that happening in too many training grounds around the country with just a few weeks to go, with the natural fatigue that can set in with players after a long season. So they give everything and are backed into the hilt every day of the week.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sam Matface there with Keith Andrews. Going back to Ryan, the Man United fan. Ryan, just on Michael Carrick. Would you give him the job?
Personally, I think after the shocking start to the season we had under Hammer, and I think, like you said yourself, we're top of the league by numerous points over the course since Carrick took over. Why not? It's nice to see a player coming in, an ex-player, and just taking the reins and running with it kind of thing.
I think he's going to be forced to be given the job, and results will back it up.
That's what I mean.
No, is there any... Okay, serious question. Are there any doubts?
Like you said, I think Champions, it'll be a big test for him, because obviously, like you said, he's been going weekend to weekend. But, like, you don't know until you try. And I mean, he seems to have got the players clicking again. I mean, Casemiro's been unbelievable.
Well, they're next season.
I'm hoping, I'm praying that they manage to come to this, because I mean, no one thought. I mean, me personally, I didn't think Maguire would be given an extension, but I'm happy as he's stepped up. Since he's been giving up the captaincy, he's been top form again. And I mean, Kobbie Mainoo, he's just come into a world of his own. And I think, personal opinion, not just being a Man United fan, but I think he has to be on that plane with England because.
Yeah, he played well tonight.
We were talking about that in the green room watching the game, that he's forced himself into Tuchel's plans.
Yeah,
because of we've always known he's a good player. That's not. There's no secret.
No,
it's just that Amorim weren't having him, and he ostracised him from the squad completely.
Completely.
I just
bad
come
decision
away. I thought Brentford were good tonight. At least a point, might have won it on another day. I'll see him at Stamford Bridge. Same rules. We got beat them 2-0. How we beat them 2-0, I'll never know. How we beat them 2-0 and how Man United won today 2-1, I'll never know. If the chances, big chances, are taken, they win both of those games. They do. But
okay, but at the end of the season, right now, would you give Carrick the job?
I think you've got to. But for me,
you're giving him the job.
I think
But you're not convinced?
No, I'm not convinced. But I think the problem that United are going to have is that he's put everyone in a position where he has done so well. But the bigger picture is, what genuinely does it look like when there is Carabao Cup? You're not getting bumped out by Grimsby. There is no Champions League or any European football. You're getting bumped out first round by Brighton. And then you've got a clean run. 40 games this season. I'm not convinced. But I think he should get the job. I think he will. But it comes with a caveat. Is there better out there? That's the question. Is there better out there that are better equipped to deal with? I know Adrian said earlier that he's been dealing with championship games loads ago.
Yeah.
Not on a level of Manchester United.
No, it's a different level.
It's a different level. And I have my reservations. I would look around first before I give it to him.
Okay, you can have your say, Nate. Give us a call. 03 717 22 3344.